Hey, what's up guys, it's Thundershock115, and today we're going to be taking a look at a video of someone trying to claim that Call of Duty Coming to Game Pass is somehow going to end Xbox. The title of the video is Xbox in Panic Mode. Call of Duty coming to Game Pass to boost subs. Which, I mean, I'm pretty sure that was obvious to anybody who can rub two brain cells together, and the video in question comes from Dreamcastguy, someone that I haven't personally covered on the channel before, but if you've watched Griffin Gaming before, then I'm sure y'all are familiar with him. In case you aren't, the dude's a PlayStation fanboy masquerading as a video game news channel. But enough beating around the bush, let's go ahead and get right into this shit.
What's up gamers, Dreamcastguy here, and today we're talking about Xbox because a big new report was just released that Game Pass is making a final big gamble. They're going to put Call of Duty into Game Pass this year, and it seems like this is probably going to raise the price of the service. We're going to get a big price increase for Game Pass, but additionally, I think this is the final experiment. This is their test to see if they can actually make Game Pass profitable before they just give up on gaming altogether.
Alright, so we started off unusually strong for a Dreamcastguy video. I mean, I do agree that with COD coming to Game Pass, the price of the service is most likely going to increase. I think anybody denying that is on copium right now. But then he says that they're going to give up on gaming altogether, which is just fucking absurd. My guy, Microsoft is literally third place in terms of revenue for the entire gaming industry. Now, if this push fails, will it be the end of Game Pass? Maybe. End of Xbox as a console manufacturer? Unlikely, but plausible. End of Xbox in terms of gaming altogether? Absolutely fucking not. Even if Game Pass and the Xbox console disappeared off the face of the earth, Microsoft would still be very much inside the gaming sphere. They would just act as a third party, developing games for PlayStation, PC, and Nintendo. Basically, they would go the way that Sega did after the failure of the console that this dude named this channel after.
But let's talk about that, and let's take a look at the report. Hi, I hope you're having a great day. If you could, give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already.
No, I don't think I'm gonna do either of those things. You know, something about this video just doesn't really push me to do it, you know? Hopefully, unlike my video, which pushes y'all to like and subscribe, but, you know, moving on from that shit.
Okay, so here we go. Wall Street Journal has just published a report talking about the fact that Microsoft is going to release the next Call of Duty, which is rumored to be Black Ops 6, on Game Pass, and they're going to announce it at the Xbox Showcase coming up in June. But if you actually consider this, this is a very tough sell.
How is that a tough sell? This is fucking Call of Duty we're talking about. It's the biggest shooter franchise on planet Earth. Not everybody wants to spend $70 every single fucking year just for Call of Duty. But a subscription service like Game Pass, where you pay like $12 a month, might seem very appealing to those people. Or hell, let's just say that there is a price increase. Let's just say that like the regular tier of Game Pass goes to $15 a month and Game Pass Ultimate goes to $20 a month. That's still a pretty appealing value proposition when combined with a lot of the other games in Game Pass. I mean, shit, I didn't bother buying COD Vanguard or Modern Warfare 23, but I might have been willing to try them out if they were in Game Pass. And I'm sure that holds true for a lot of other people as well. Not to mention, there's a lot of people who play COD that would likely subscribe to Game Pass to gain access to it.
This is a move that I think is going to either work very well, or more likely, it's going to totally explode in Microsoft's face.
No, this isn't gonna massively explode in Microsoft's face. Worst case scenario is you get a bunch of people who might have bought Call of Duty that instead just subscribe to Game Pass for like 1 month and then immediately cancel their subscription. And they lose a couple $100 million from that, which to Microsoft, that's not really much. But best case scenario, they see massive growth to Game Pass, they see a lot more players in Call of Duty due to the improved ease of access, which then in turn improves revenue from things like microtransactions. Microsoft stands to gain massively from this, and the risk is relatively low. They won't be that much worse off than they currently are if it doesn't work out for them. I mean, hell, Game Pass has kind of grown stagnant when it comes to the amount of people that subscribe to it, and I don't see a lot of people just massively unsubscribing en masse for them simply adding Call of Duty. Duty. Now, maybe you might get people unsubscribing because of a price increase, but the price increase itself should offset that, as well as all the new subscribers that you get from Call of Duty. In other words, this is about as close to Pascal's wager as it gets for Microsoft.
Microsoft plans a major shakeup of its video game sales strategy by releasing the coming installment of Call of Duty to its subscription service instead of the long-time lucrative approach of selling a game a la carte.
The game will still be available a la carte. Much like every other game that comes to Game Pass, you can still buy the game separately to own it if you wish.
Now, for the most part, I think we can all acknowledge that Call of Duty is making billions and billions of dollars. The entire reason for the Activision Blizzard deal in the first place was clearly the fact that Xbox wanted Call of Duty. They wanted access to the biggest gaming franchise on the planet. I mean, not to be a Call of Duty hater, I mean, some of the games are good, but they're definitely extremely casual. There are people that go and buy Call of Duty every single year. They just go and spend their cash on it back to back to back.
Which is precisely why Microsoft is adding Call of Duty to Game Pass. That way they bolster subscription numbers by tapping into that casual market that plays Call of Duty. And I'm sure what Microsoft wants is for them to also see the value of Game Pass beyond just Call of Duty by seeing the other games that might be available in there, thus getting to stick around in their subscription service and continue to pay them like $15 a month or whatever.
And that upfront sales, that just generates so much income, followed by microtransactions and skins and season passes and map packs.
I hate to be that guy, but Call of Duty has not had paid map packs in a while. The last game that had them was Black Ops 4 back in 2018. But I get his point about the microtransactions, which again, that's why they're fucking doing it. It reduces the barrier to entry, it gets a lot more people playing Call of Duty that otherwise wouldn't have spent the money on the game individually, and now they're playing the game and potentially buying microtransactions.
So the fact that they're trying to test removing that upfront pay, the fact that they're going to take something they just spent $70 billion on and put it out there essentially for free, I think this is... It is a move that I think they are going to instantly regret.
No, they're not just handing out the game for free. You either have to subscribe to Game Pass, which is $10 a month for the regular tier, or $17 a month for Ultimate, or you just have to buy the game outright for $70. And like I described earlier, the absolute worst that would happen is that they lose out on a few $100 million worth of sales from people just subscribing to Game Pass to play it, and then immediately canceling their subscription. But the potential gains they can get from it, as well as the likelihood that they will see some gains from it, is why Microsoft is doing it.
Now, a lot of people are just sort of laughing at this because it is bizarre that this is an announcement that seems almost a bit too late.
A bit too late? My brother in Christ, the game hasn't even been officially revealed yet. All we have are a couple of teasers. How is that too late? Also, now that Microsoft has finished acquiring Activision Blizzard, that means Activision Blizzard is now an Xbox first-party studio, and one of the taglines of Game Pass is that every new first-party Xbox title comes to Game Pass day one. Black Ops 6 is a first-party Xbox title, therefore it's gonna come to Game Pass day one. How anybody expected anything else to be the case is beyond me. Like, this is literally something we all knew when Microsoft announced that they'd be acquiring Activision Blizzard. Now, I don't know when they'll get around to bringing over their legacy titles, but their new titles being day and date, I mean, that's something that we all knew was going to happen, unless of course you're a PlayStation fanboy in denial. But then again, that perfectly describes Dreamcastguy.
Like, here's Paul Tassi, writer for Forbes, saying this: "It was inevitable they do this. The question is whether it would happen this year or the next. They're way too down the rabbit hole, committed to Game Pass at this point to start making exceptions for first-party games, and this is one of the only remaining places that can drive new subs."
Exactly, and if they didn't put Black Ops 6 into Game Pass day one, they'd literally be sued for fucking false advertising because they advertise Game Pass as releasing all of Microsoft's first-party titles day one.
People are, of course, all the replies are like, okay, Game Pass is about to be $25 a month. So, yeah, this is going to be a two-pronged dumpster fire, because they're definitely going to increase the price of Game Pass. I don't think this is deniable at all, but additionally, I think that internally, companies have sales metrics. They go, okay, we spent $300 million on advertising, we spent $200 million on development, so it needs to sell at least 10 million copies to break even. So this thing is going to bomb. I'm going to call it right now. You can clip it. I'm filming this at 10 a.m. on May 17th. This is about to be the lowest selling Call of Duty of all time.
Imagine just boldly and confidently claiming that Call of Duty is going to bomb so much to the point that you literally tell people to fucking clip it. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, this is Call of Duty we're talking about. It is not going to bomb. Even in its worst years, Call of Duty still manages to top the sales charts year after year. In fact, I actually decided to do some research, and you know what I found? 2009, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is the first game in the series to be the #1 best-selling game of its year. Every single year since then, that year's Call of Duty has been the best-selling game of its year worldwide, with only 4 exceptions. Those being 2013 with GTA 5, 2018 with Red Dead Redemption 2, 2020 with Animal Crossing New Horizons, and 2023 with Hogwarts Legacy. And in all 4 of those years, Call of Duty was the second best-selling title. GTA 5 and Red Dead 2 are massive Rockstar titles, and if there's any company that can consistently dethrone COD, it's Rockstar. Animal Crossing was largely a case of the right game at the right time, given the fact that it released right as the COVID pandemic hit, and it's basically a sort of life simulator. And then Hogwarts Legacy is a AAA game attached to one of the biggest book franchises on planet Earth, that being Harry Potter, and then on top of that there was that whole dumbass controversy which helped market the game even further. But 10 out of the past 14 years, with the exception of this one for obvious reasons, have had Call of Duty as the #1 best-selling game of its year. Even in some of the series' worst years, like Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare, Vanguard, like, Activision and Microsoft would have to royally fuck something up in order to jeopardize Call of Duty's sales success. And I mean royally fuck it up. I mean, hell, remember when Infinite Warfare got revealed and it seemed like everybody and their mother fucking hated it? And yet not even that was able to stop it from claiming the #1 spot that year. So trust me, I think Black Ops 6 will do perfectly fine.
Now it's going to bump up some Game Pass numbers, which is kind of the point, in a way.
Well, no fucking shit.
Game Pass is in a weird spot because I do think that people are beginning to miss the olden days. People are beginning to miss the Xbox 360 era or early PlayStation 4, where there was back-to-back good releases, but also there was always something to play. There was always something you could pick up for $50 or $60 or indie games for $20. And now, not only is everything $70, but a lot of stuff breaks broken, unfinished, with season passes, filled with DLC on day one.
Oh my god, there's so much to unpack here. I mean, I will agree that the Xbox 360 generation was much better when it came to the quality of AAA games, as the quality of them has definitely gone downhill over the past couple of years. But is this dude really trying to argue that literally every game is $70 now, or that there aren't any smaller indie titles or AA titles to play for a cheaper price? Like, I don't know what fucking rock you've been living under, Dreamcastguy, but earlier this year we got this game, you might have heard of it, called Helldivers 2, and it's been doing really well. And then before that, it was Pal World that was doing pretty fucking well. Neither of those games are $70, Pal World's $30, and Helldivers 2 is $40. And then last year we had plenty of smaller games like Hi-Fi Rush, Everspace 2, Trepang 2, Pizza Tower, and then of course the year before that we had shit like Vampire Survivors. Like, did you just miss all of that? As for season passes and day one DLC, we've had that since the fucking 360 era. Like, remember in Black Ops 2 when you needed to buy the season's pass if you wanted to get access to Nuketown Zombies at launch? The season's pass, which is still $50 fucking dollars in the year of our Lord 2024 for some godforsaken reason. It's like this dude just completely forgets any and all of his gaming knowledge whenever it's convenient for him.
And people are starting to go, okay, well, what is this going to do in the long run? Is Game Pass good for gaming or bad for gaming? Now, here's a good point. Currently, Game Pass is just a standard 2-tier system, and we don't know what tier of Game Pass this is going to be.
Yes, we fucking do, you dumbass. It's gonna be in the regular tier as well as Ultimate. Game Pass Core is literally just a rebranded version of Xbox Live Gold to get people to pay for online multiplayer. But the regular tier of Game Pass, as well as Game Pass Ultimate, which is, you know, where all of Microsoft's other first-party titles go to day and date, is gonna be where COD goes to. Like, holy shit, how is this difficult to figure out?
As it currently exists, there's the core, which is pretty much just multiplayer, and then $17 a month for Game Pass Ultimate, which is where you get access to typical Game Pass. So that's basically, you know, this is how you get the hundreds and hundreds of games, plus new games on day one. I think this price is definitely going to go up. In fact, I even said that. I said, okay, so remember this tweet. Game price is about to go way high. I think they're going to increase it at least $4 or $5. People are like, oh, they're going to increase the price of PlayStation Plus. Okay, I don't know why this person is throwing that out. That's also stupid. PlayStation Plus, obviously, nobody should compare PlayStation Plus to Xbox Game Pass.
Why not? They're similarly priced, and PlayStation Plus is Sony's rival service to Xbox Game Pass. We should absolutely be comparing them.
Xbox Game Pass has a lot of good games. PlayStation Plus, you know, whatever. I pay for premium, and I often regret it. But here's the thing. A lot of people are talking about this because as good as this will be in the short term, I think it's going to lead to a lot of bad things all at once. This is truly going to go down in the record books of Xbox as a catastrophe in the long run.
Oh yeah, totally. I definitely think Microsoft is going to regret this move when it's literally netting them, what, 66% more revenue than they were previously getting? And on top of that, offering a better value for consumers due to adding one of the most popular gaming franchises on planet Earth to their subscription service? Yeah, dude, keep smoking that meth.
Like, maybe I'm being hyperbolic or overly bleak, but, I mean, Xbox has made frequent sloppy mistakes. The whole thing with the Xbox One, telling people not to buy the Xbox One, forcing the Kinect, and trying to make stuff like originally when the Xbox One was about to come out, it did not have used games.
Why are we bringing shit up from 11 fucking years ago? Like, my guy, Microsoft has had plenty of fuck-ups that were far more recent that you could point to. Like when they shut down Tango Gameworks seemingly at random, or the absolute abominations that were Redfall and Starfield, or the fact that despite promising 60 FPS for the Xbox Series X as the standard output, a lot of their first-party games are capped at 30 for some reason. But nah, instead we gotta point to something that happened over a decade ago. And yet you still scratch your head wondering why people accuse you of being stuck in the past.
I guess people kind of forget that today, and ever since then, they've kind of been trying to keep up. Microsoft is now so far behind on console sales. I did a video yesterday that they're actually down 5-1. For every one Xbox that sells, 5 PS5 sells, which is insane.
Okay, dude, I know you're a PlayStation fanboy, but seriously, like, dude, Xbox console sales are already pathetic enough as they are. You don't need to make up random bullshit just to make it look bad.
And I think Game Pass, they are relying everything on this. If Microsoft can't figure out how to make Game Pass actually profitable, I think we're going to see the entire bubble pop. They're not going to keep spending hundreds of millions of dollars buying new games, buying new studios, paying to have good developers doing good work. I mean, if it's not lucrative, these companies exist to make a profit, and Game Pass is such a weird idea where, yes, on paper, hypothetically, it could work if you get 50 million subscribers, 100 million subscribers. Like, if enough people are paying you $10, $20 a month, it will pay off for those big projects.
Yeah, it's almost like that's why they're putting Call of Duty into Game Pass. That way they get more people to fucking subscribe to it and Microsoft makes more money. It's like he's answering his own questions, but he's just too unself-aware to realize it. Oh, but there's gonna be a but, isn't there?
But if you're putting something like Call of Duty in, something that would give you instantly billions of dollars back, and just choosing not to accept that money, man, this is a very interesting gamble.
Choosing not to accept the money. My guy, they are still selling the game for full price on all platforms. It's just now you have the option to get it in Game Pass instead. They are still very much accepting people's money that want to buy the game standalone.
Look at this. They're going to make it so the base level also has a higher cost, and they're going to gradual Game Pass increase over the next couple of years. Yeah, so this is one of the things I think is going to kill Game Pass the most, is I think they're going to jump it up to $20 a month here in the next 2 months. I think the price is going to go up, and I genuinely believe that before Call of Duty comes out, there's going to be a second price increase.
Why would they bother with 2 price increases before Call of Duty releases? I could see 1 price increase definitely, but 2 of them in such a short time span, that would not go over well with people. If anything, they would just increase it once to whatever their target is, instead of just doing it twice. Now, maybe they'd increase it a second time in a longer time span, like say maybe like a year or 2 after the fact, but no, they're not going to be doing 2 price increases in the same year.
I do think that Game Pass is going to go up to $25 a month here within the next year, which sucks, but I think it's the only way that the weirdo executive people over at Microsoft can even fathom paying back a $70 billion acquisition.
Okay, genuine question, Dreamcastguy, but do you really think Microsoft is going to try and recoup their investment over a single Call of Duty release? No, this is the kind of thing that they're going to do over multiple years. And on top of that, you don't just have the Game Pass revenue that you get from new subscribers getting it for Call of Duty, but you also have the sales from the game itself, as well as all the microtransaction sales.
Now, the last tweet I wanted to look at is this one here from Jeff Grubb, because I do think this spells out the bleakness of the Xbox experiment. Putting Call of Duty on Game Pass and not launching it on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, if that doesn't move the needle on getting people to adopt the Xbox as their chosen next-gen device, then that's it. This is the final hurrah of Xbox.
Absolutely fucking not. Now, this may be the end of Game Pass if it doesn't work out. Hell, it might even be the end of Xbox as a console manufacturer, but the end of Xbox as a whole, absolutely not. Even if Game Pass and the console go away, they'll still continue to make games as a third-party publisher. They have way too much invested into the gaming scene to just give up on it completely.
I do think it's going to be bad for the industry when they inevitably implode and go the Sega path and go fully third party.
So you acknowledge that Xbox would likely just go third party if the console and Game Pass don't work out for them, and yet you say it's going to be the end of Xbox. Like, dude, make up your fucking mind.
But it is just strange to see how the purchasing of Activision Blizzard is going into the history books as the worst move they've made. I think it's going to make the money in the short term. I think they'll recover their losses in the long term. But if you think that Xbox, as it currently exists, is going to continue, you're delusional.
Projection detected, opinion rejected.
Yeah, at this point he just does a blooper and then his outro, so I'm gonna end the video off here. So I guess the key takeaway here is that Microsoft putting Call of Duty into Game Pass is not gonna kill Xbox like Dreamcast says it will. There might be a really small chance that Game Pass might suffer from this, and maybe the Xbox as a console, but no, Xbox will still continue to be a pretty strong force in the gaming industry, even if that does come to happen. But anyways, if you enjoyed, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for more, and tell me what you think about Dreamcastguy being an absolute dumbass. Anyways, that's it. Peace!